Good night. Have one done tonight. God is good and God is good all the time. My name is Irma Jess Spiritual. I'm here to give you a word and some news on tonight. First, we're going to start with the news. Bill on targeting the smuggling of girls and women. Now, they were smuggling girls and women through the border. So as Washington remained gridlocked over immigrants, reform Republican women that's been smuggling through the girls and the women. So they're trafficking these women and girls. So Marsha Blackburn, will introduce legislation that would authorize 50 million to add state and local government along with NGO. So in combating the smuggling of young women and girls, act seek to prevent the trafficking and smuggling of vulnerable girls and women. So they're doing the women's too. They're vulnerable and and for some reason they know how to pick, certain women and girls, in the country, particularly those who have been brought illegal across the United States Mexico border. So they buying these women and girls. Buying them illegal and crossing over the border. So Liggett had gone by across the throwing her support. Now Blackburn, they throwing the support for her behind Blackburn bill. So Blackburn urged, that address, the issue at the border. So she had this was yesterday. She addressed, the what happened at the border yesterday. The smuggling of women and the girls. So but, so even an immigrant, as an immigrant, continue to be, you know, political continuous subject. The bill comes after Blackburn travel. So she traveled. She traveled over there. She had traveled over there to the border, with two federal female Republicans. So she had two Republicans with her, and yes, I would try. They were saying that we got to try to save these women and these girls at the border, the school, the church, the bank, and we do. We getting these policies together. So a lot of policies is really coming into place now. So yes, I will try to come up with something to pass. Some of these things that's going to help secure the border. They're going to secure the border, protect the children in school, the community. To the banks, whatever they have mashing and shooting at, we getting these policies together, and it's starting to come in place, so less guns will be purchased, there be a less, massive killing and slowly but surely we'll be getting these have red flag to be getting these guns off the street. So it's going to protect. I'm gonna try to come up with something for the border, the children at the school, the community, So on the Thursday had charged members, a Mexican family was smuggling women, as young as girls, through the United States to work as sex slaves. So it's like they're bringing slavery back. A whole lot of stuff is coming back. Now they won't make them out of sex slave. So our children, the community, the border, the banks, you know, um, smuggling and trafficking women and girls, you know, I would have to come up with something to try to protect all this stuff that's going on. Every time you look around, we still have mass shooting. You know, and the policy is very important to have these rules in place because you got to have rules. You have to set rules to have them in place. So I don't have anything today, but I will have it tomorrow. It's gonna be the school, to community. I did the school 2 3 days ago. I came up with an idea of how monitor, have someone have security in there in a control room to monitor cameras through the school by the windows, the doors, and the security be the first one to catch him, and before the police get there. To community. I'm gonna come up with something with the community. You know, the border. The banks and smuggling women and girls. So I will have all this here stuff for you tomorrow. Because I just got this news today. So let me talk to you about a word. We still doing Bible study. We talked to you yesterday about Samson wants to get revenge. And the lesson was we don't do revenge. God do the revenge. So not today. The Philistine killed his wife like they said it was gonna do. They said they were gonna kill, burn her up in her father, and they did just that. So now, Samson he went to Galizad, where he saw a woman now. Now he looking at women already. But he's still supposed to be mourning for his wife. Now he went in to spend the night with her. Now he just met her. And this same woman gonna cause him so much problem. So now Samson's wife and her father are dead, by the Philistine. So that's why he got revenge. And he still needed God's help. He tried to do revenge on his own. But ultimately at the end, he still needed God's help. God stepped in and saved him, and he defeated the Philistine. So the people of Gaza, was told that Samson was here. Because they heard about how he be defeating everything. As long as he got God's spirit on, he able to defeat and fight anything that come his way to protect the Israelites. So they heard that he was here. So they surrounded. They surrounded the place, and laid and wait for him. They wait for him to come out. They didn't charge in. They surrounded the place where he went in, and they waited. They waited at the city gate. They waited at the city gate. But then when Samson was ready to leave, he didn't wait till the morning time. He left out in the middle of the night. So in the middle of the night, so they're up there plotting. So at dawn, they plotting and said, at dawn, we gonna kill him. So they heard that Samson was here, and they're plotting to kill him because they heard how he defeated the Philistine, and they're scared. A lot of time, when a person's scared, they're gonna try to get you before you try to get them. So they want to kill him first. Otherwise they're scared of him. They heard how he can fight. They see how big he is. But they want to try to get him first before they think he gonna kill them. So they waiting on Samson, to kill him. But Samson lay on it until the middle of the night, and he creeped out. So then he got up. He took a hold of the door of the city gate, and he told them loose. Now this is a strong man. This is a strong man. He was holding on to the door. Well, he took the whole doggone thing off. That's just how much strength he had. So he lifted them to his shoulder, and he carried them to the hill that faced him. So this is a strong man. This is a strong man. Like he holding on to something till the whole thing just fell apart. So now remember, he met this woman, he spent the night with her, and now he felt in love. We see that he falls in love quick with his wife. He had felt in love with her so quickly. So with a woman in the valley, he felt in love with a woman in the valley, whose name was Delilah. So we see Samson didn't waste no time falling in love. He supposed to be still mourning for his wife, but here he found somebody else and he falling in love. So he didn't waste no time. He in love again. So now the ruler of the Philistine, they are aware, that he loved this woman here. She's a Philistine too. Delilah. So they're aware that he got feelings for her. She a Philistine. Now he know what happened with his wife. He know what happened with his wife. She was a Philistine. But they manipulate her to try to get answer from him, and he gonna fall for another woman that gonna manipulate him. So now the ruler of the Philistine aware that Samson loved Delilah. And now the ruler of Philistine went to her, so they went to her just like they did his wife, and they told her, you know, you go, you seduce him, and and have him to show you the secret, of his great strength, and how, he can overpower everything, him. So the way to tell, his great strength, how he tell, and you tie him up, Now see, they say, go and seduce, him, find out how he get his strength, how he get his strength, and when you do find out, tie him up, tie him up, and tie him up, and he will give you, So they're telling her, you go seduce him, you know, have him to show you how he get all his strength. And once you do all that and you deliver him to me, I'm gonna give you some silver. Now she's gonna do all that for some silver. 1,100 scatters of silver. Now she about to do this for. So the Philistine was ruled, by the 5 rulers, not just one, but each ruler, for each different city. So they want her to find out, what the cause to him, so much strength. They forgot God, God's spirit all over him. God created him to be this powerful, strong person. So now they offer to give her, 1,100 skeletons of silver. And she went to Samson to tell, she went to him, just like they said, tell me the secret of your great strength, and how I can tie you up and seduce you. That she came straight out and telling him, tell me the secret of how you got all that strength, and he gonna tell it 3 times. He gonna tell her a lie 3 times, now Samson answer. Now he answered her, 3 times he lied to her. 3 times he told her a story about how he got his strength, but all 3 times was not the truth, So he loose, so he to tie him up and broke loose, and he still had his strength because that wasn't a true story. Now each time he told a story, she tried to tie him up, and then she'll call him to wake up, and he'll bust straight through the string. So that wasn't, a lie. I mean, that was not the truth. So he told her another story. He went to sleep again. And then she called him. He bust through it again. So each time he did not tell her the truth of how he get his strength. But man got a weak point. So now she's about to hit his soft spot. Just like the wife did when they said about the love. She about to hit his soft spot. She said, how can you say you love me, and you don't want to confide in me? You don't want to give me the answer that I keep asking you for. So now she's trying to put on this sympathy. The same thing his wife did. If you love me, why you can't confide in me and tell me, the secret of your strength? So when you won't confide in me, this is the 3rd time he have made. She said, this is the 3rd time you made a fool out of me. You done told me 3 times how you supposed to got your strength, and then when I tie you up, you still got strength because you're busting through it. So she told me the secret of this great strength, and now Samson's strength, it is his hair. Now his strength is his hair. His power is his hair. It's to be cut off, and he lied to her 3 times. And she said, you made a fool of me. So now she pondered him. She pondered him day and night. Day and night. Give me that secret. And so after she pounded him over and over, he got tired of pounding him. So he went on. He said, I told her everything. It's like she was just getting on my nerves. I just had to tell her everything. So he said, no razor. He said no razor have ever been used on my head. He said, because I have been dedicated to God from my mother womb. You remember there was a special child that his mother had. You had full instruction for her when she was pregnant. You can't drink wine, you can't do this, and you can't do that. And then when she delivered the baby, it still was rules, because God told her, you can never cut his hair on his head. His hair hadn't grown so long, was way down here. He had 7 big old locks, in his head. So he said he belongs to God. He said he belongs to God, and I will become weak after just like a regular man. He said, now this is the truth. He said his hair never been cut. So if you cut my hair, I will lose my strength. So when she saw that he had told her everything, she sent a word to the root of the Philistine. She ain't waste no time. She ain't waste no time. Now remember, when they told her, if he answer her and give her the question of where his strength come from, they was gonna give her 100 of silver. So now they come with the 100 silver because she called him to come over there. So the Philistine returned with the silver and headed towards her, and they put him to sleep. So when they got over there, she had him tied up. So when they put him to sleep, he was on her lap. She already was rocking him to sleep. So when they came, they already, she had to put him to sleep. Now she calls us, why he on her lap? She had them, she instruct them to go get somebody to shave his hair. Why he on her lap? So they shaved his hair, and they began to subdue him, and his strength left him. His power, his strength was in his hair. And by then I cut his hair, cut his hair. He had 7 big old locks in his head. So when they cut all 7 of his locks, his strength left. And not only did his strength left, he didn't even realize that God left him too. So Samson, he was subdued by the Philistine woman who he had dismatched and even get to know her. Had dismatched, still was mourning for his wife. Who lived in the valley where he met her at. She betrayed the secret, of his strength, to the Philistine who captured him, led away in a chain together. Now he tied up, tied him a chain. Remember he a big man, with so power and strength. He don't have that power and strength no more. So they chained up, and now they bringing him to another city, to kill him. So Samson was deceived because he wanted to believe her lies, that he was blind of love. Some people can be blind of love. They can love somebody that's toxic, and they can't see the other stuff that's behind them or inside of them. So he could not smother, his burning loss, that because he couldn't see her for who she really was, because he was so love her, had so much passion for her, and she must be pretty because they were saying her appearance, he was infatuated over her appearance, so he loved pretty women because his wife was pretty. He said his wife was pretty. Now he ain't had time to even finish mourning for his wife till he going to another city, to a valley, and saw her. So Samson moved, he moved in to another favorite relationship. Now he knew what just happened the last time with his wife. His wife tried to manipulate him the same way too. Because the Philistine wanted an answer. He answer to the riddle. So he didn't learn his lesson with the first woman. And then he got caught up with a second woman. So when he first met her, he spent a night with her. Didn't get to know her. And he had fell in love so fast. So he had to be patient. You have to be patient, especially if you're mourning. Especially when you just get out of one. He had to be patient, because his wife had just died. He didn't, took time to observe, this new woman right here. Now, what is beneath, her appearance? So that's all he was worrying about. But he didn't find out what was behind, what was underneath all that prettiness. So, sometimes people can be pretty on the outside, but sometimes the inside it's not matching up on the outside. So he ain't give himself no time, to find anything out about this woman. So she kept asking Simpson for the secret, of his strength, until he finally got tired and give her the answers. And that was a bad move, because when he wake up, he gonna realize all his hair is gone. So she called Simpson, and he awoke. Remember, he sleep on her lap. She called him, he awoke in his sleep, and he thought normally, he'd just hop up, bust through stuff, because she constantly keep on tying them up, and he'll just wake up and bust through, but not this time. He thought he'll get up, and shake himself over like he normally do and be free. Walk away and be free. But he did not know that the Lord had left him. He did not know the Lord had left him. He didn't realize his strength left. He was just knocked out asleep, laying on a woman that he loved, laying on her lap, not knowing she had deceived him. So now since they cut his hair, which was his strength, and God's spirit was over him, but once his hair got cut, he did not know his spirit had left him. Until they started beating him up, and he realized he ain't had no strength, to even fight them back. So that's when he realized God left him. And then he realized his hair cut. So then the Philistine sized him, and gone out, girls out his eye, so he ain't had no strength. They put out his eye, and then they took him down to Galilee's city, and then they blind him, because they gouge out his eye, so they blind him with brown shackle, and they set him to grind him in prison. So they throw him in prison while his eyes is out. But the hair on his head, she cut his hair, but the hair on his head, it started growing back. That means God was coming back. God didn't abandon him. God did not abandon him. But after it had been shaved, so now this is the woman he had met. This is the one he had met when he just entered into this city. He didn't know anything about, but what caused him to get beat down, and taken to another city was this woman that he met. She deceived him, for the Philistine, for silver, for silver and gold, So God, this package here, God left, So this woman had his long hair cut off. I mean, it was long. It was long. Because as he was a child, his mama could not, God said, do not shave his hair. Just like he told her, my hair never had been shaved. So that means it had grew so long. So they put him in prison while his eyes, all his eyes is out. But the hair on his head began to grow, again after it had been shaved. So now, this woman he had met, he didn't know anything about this woman, So this woman had all his long hair cut off, and he didn't realize his hair was cut off. He did not know God had left him. I mean, he just was love blind. So when Samson allowed, his hair to be cut off, he shouted and announced his vow. That didn't matter. They didn't cut off his hair. Remember, he had told her earlier on, that he dedicated his dedicated himself to God. Ever since he was born. So that's what he highlighted. You cut my hair off. I'm dedicated to God. And now he realized God is gone. My hair. Long as I had my long hair, I had God. Spirit all over me. God is gone. Cut my hair. So he was trying to stress his vow, that he had with God. His hair was cut off and God was gone. So which is the basis for God special presence in his life. But the hair on his head began to grow again after it had been shaved. So God had not abandoned him. But it was God that had his hair growing back. Meaning God was giving him his power back. But God's giving it to him temporary. Because the first time God told him not even don't marry a Philistine woman. So then the wife died. Now you're gonna get involved with another Philistine woman. So God gonna give him a little strength for a little while. But by he won't be disobedient and keep on fooling with these Philistine women, he gonna have that power just for that moment. Oh, so he didn't give himself to mourn for his wife. He fell in love so fast with another Philistine woman. When he know what happened the first time, and that's why God told him don't get involved with a Philistine woman. He know what happened the first time, and then he get involved with another one. This time, so he fell in love so fast, and look what happened. Her love had blinded him, and when he couldn't see through her lies. He was in love so much of her and her appearance, where he couldn't even see what even was going on. He couldn't even see what kind of person she was because he hadn't fell in love so fast. So we talking about Samson. And next package gonna be he gonna die. They got him in prison right now. Which is the second time he been deceived by a woman. So we see that he have a weak point for women, beautiful women. So God gonna feel like, this is your time. Because this is the second time. And the first time God had to save him. And he defeat the Philistine. He didn't defeat him on his own. Now this is the second time. Because so God keep on allowing him to live. He gonna keep on fooling with these Philistine women when God keeps telling him, do not fool with this woman. How you gonna keep fooling with this woman? And you got to protect the Israelite from the Philistine. So we talk about they smuggling women and girls through the border. You know, making them as sex slaves. So they're taking them, they're smuggling them, trafficking these women and children, girls, through the border. And have causing them to be a sex slave. So I had to try to protect the border. For the vulnerable women and girls, and the school, the church, the bank. I'm gonna do the best I can. Because slowly but surely, all this stuff gonna have to stop. We're gonna have to come to an end. Because there's too much killing, too much shooting. It's in the bank, the church, the school. And I'm gonna do the best I can. This policy is important. It's important because you got to get the rules set first. To have anything that stick. So I don't have any policy right now. But I will have it ready for tomorrow. Because we gotta make it tight because title 42, they about to throw that out because that was for the COVID. Mr. President, he signed the thing for the COVID, so we ain't gonna need the Title 42 no more. So still got to come up with something to protect these women and girls that's on the border. So we just talked about Samson. He in jail. He got this the second time he got defeated. He got deceived by a woman. He didn't learn his lesson with the first one. He got involved with another Philistine woman that deceived him for the Philistine. So that's all the news and the words that I have for you on tonight. And I see y'all on the next video.